So this was a really difficult review to do. It took me way longer than it should have. And namely because this is truly like the duality of a review. I'm Nima. I want to talk about Call of Duty Vanguard. So I have to start it off by saying like this is going to be broken up into campaign and online mode. Also, I've got to talk about the issues with Activision Blizzard and Bobby Kotick. Now, this is one of the reasons why I was very torn on reviewing this game, because I really don't want to give more credit and more publicity to a garbage company, if you will. And understand this, that I know who I am. Like, I know I get like 100 views, but to those people, those 100 people, or maybe one guy just listened to it 100 times, I still want to be able to show like my own credibility. And if a company is garbage, I don't want to talk good about it. But here's the problem. I talked to some developers who worked on the game. I've talked to certain people inside of it. And like, it's much more difficult for them because they made a pretty good game and they put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. At the same time, they're also getting a lot of sideways glances when they're trying to get other jobs with other companies. A lot of companies don't want to hire them. Hey, are they the people who are causing the problems or the people who are reporting the problems? Like, it gets really difficult for people in this kind of situation. Now, if you're not 100% caught up on all of it, just understand there was a lot of sexual and other sort of harassment charges against certain members of the Activision Blizzard team. And it turns out the CEO, Bobby Kotick, also knew about it, as well as having his own problems, like major problems. Like, he ended up having to pay, like, a stewardess, like, $250,000 because of things he was doing to her and saying to her, in one flight, by the way. And obviously, he felt like his actions were deemed of having to actually pay her money to go away. So that's the duality of it. I don't want to publicize this company, but the game and the developers and a lot of the people who worked on it and the majority of the people there are not the problem. It's just a small few people, and it's happened to typically be the ones who are up top. Anyway, getting that out of the way, I have to say, I haven't enjoyed a Call of Duty game in a very long time. If I'm honest, I didn't even figure I was going to check this game out, but with as bad as Battlefield 2042 turned out to be, I was in the need for a first-person shooter. And I have to say this. First off, talking about the campaign, there are moments in it that are incredibly epic and really fun. I loved a lot of the missions with Polina Petrova, who was actually based on a real Russian sniper. And if you actually want to look into her, really cool story. She was a BAMF. Her name was Ludmila Palachenko, by the way. But I love those missions. I like the sniper aspect. And it gets really good, too, towards the end of her kind of storyline. And I like that. I like the fact that each character kind of has a little bit of a storyline. And they all tell, like, a different aspect of the war that hasn't really been focused on in most games, which I know we only have 8,000 different World War II games. How can you find conflicts that weren't focused on in other games? But Call of Duty Vanguard ended up doing it. There's some really interesting stuff with the missions that happen, like in Australia, with Australia and Britain working together. I didn't know that there was conflict between the two until I kind of played this game and then further on researched and looked into it. So I really, really like that. I enjoyed the campaign, as I do with a lot of Call of Duty games. Like, that's one thing that is pretty slept on with Call of Duty, is how good their campaigns are. And ultimately, I think it's because they downplay them quite a bit. But I think the biggest issue that I have is that the ending is not very epic. Like, as many epic moments there are in the campaigns, where it be jumping out of an airplane while being shot at, or watching Stalingrad come crumbling down around you while you're being raided by the Nazis. All of that is amazingly epic, but the end doesn't really feel like you did that much. Not to mention the fact that it's relatively short. Like, it's maybe 4 to 6 hours in that realm, and it's something that, like, made me really, really want more. As for the online, I had some issues going into it. And part of it, you have to understand, is I haven't played the games in forever, and Call of Duty is one of those games that you've got to put a lot of time into. You got to know the maps really well before you can really gauge how well you are. Battlefield, all of the first-person shooters are kind of that way. Like, if that's your game, then that's your game, and you play it for hours a day. You know where people kind of funnel through. You know every aspect of the map. And even though that doesn't seem to be much of an advantage when you're talking about hand-eye coordination, it really is, because you can kind of predict where people are going to come from and how they're going to attack, because you see it over and over and over. I have to say that I enjoyed this one more than I thought I would. I did better than I thought I would, and by the way, you reach your mid-30s, your hand-eye coordination isn't what it was in your early 20s, but I felt like I had a chance about every time. Now, and I also understand there's hackers, there's modders, everyone has like a turbo controller, everyone's doing, and I hate that, to be honest. I think it ruins the entire community, because there's enough people, and we've all been there, where you're playing and someone is aiming at you before you even come around the corner. And it just ruins it. It makes you not want to play the game. And I feel like Activision Blizzard needs to do a better job of getting rid of those things, as well as taking a better shot at, like, I don't know, quick scoping. Like, how long is, since Modern Warfare 2 we've had quick scoping? This is a problem. Everyone hates quick scopers. They're cheap. They ruin the entire game. But it's still a problem after all these years. They have not learned how to handle it, which is really annoying, and I think it speaks more to the dev team on that than it does to the people who are actually exploiting it. But altogether, I would say that one thing I was really impressed with the multiplayer was how deep the customization is. Like, I really enjoyed just how much work you can put in to make your gun your gun. Everything from the scope to the ammo to the barrel to the stock, like all of that stuff you can customize, as well as like the cosmetic, the stickers and the charms and all that stuff. I also have to commend them on the maps. I really enjoyed the fact that you can actually be a sniper in this game. You can actually create tactics in this game. It's not just running around and shooting real fast, but then they also break it up with certain matches, like Das Haus, which is like a complete just run and gun, get your shotgun out and just blow everyone away that you can. So you have like that duality, which I appreciate, because it makes it a lot more engaging and less boring, while also giving you just a different flavor, if you will, on each map style. So I really do like that. There's quite a bit to this game that I would say I liked way more than I thought I would, and way more than I wanted to, if I'm being honest. Like, I really kind of hoped that Blizzard and Activision would kind of go away for a little bit. Maybe go lick their wounds and then come back. So what would I fix about these games? And there is stuff that I think does need attention. Number one, I think that Call of Duty multiplayer should go away for like a year. I think you can ride out, World of War or Vangard for a year or two and actually focus on the campaign. I really enjoyed the campaign far more than I thought I would. And when I think about it, every Call of Duty campaign is really good, but every installment is getting smaller and smaller with the campaign. They're focusing less and less. And in fact, one of the issues that I forgot to mention with the campaign is that in some ways this kind of ran like a tutorial. Like you have buildings blowing up around you and you gotta run, but they're also guiding you and holding your hand, and you have to do exactly what they say, how they say it, or you fail. And that just stinks, because there's a whole world that could be explored there, and they kind of just pass it off, because maybe that's not the most popular thing. But I really think they should just come out with a Call of Duty game, 10, 12 hours, just a campaign, and that's it. And you got the multiplayer from every other game that they've already made. And then, like, let's be honest, they're not growing that much. And so if they take that year off and they just do the campaign, well, when they come back out in 2023 with the multiplayer, they'll actually have had that time to change the recipe up a little bit, to add something different. Let's be honest, it's the same thing it's been for the last decade. And part of it is because this dev team is forced to just crank out another game every year. They don't have the time to really explore with different options and to add different things that we haven't seen before, to really shake up the multiplayer experience. And a lot of that has got to be just because they're so focused on getting this one done right. I mean, look what happened with Battlefield 2042. That game is done. I don't, and as soon as these games come out, they have to hit. If they don't hit, then that was a wasted year. That was wasted investment. It can cripple an entire company. I really think Battlefield might be screwed for a while. So I get where they just want to get what is done on screen right. And they don't want to really spend too much time with innovating or coming up with a new idea or new options, new pathways for us to go to really kind of change the first person, experience. So I don't know. That would be the thing I would think they should do. Really focus on a campaign. So give us another Call of Duty next year, but just make it a campaign. Make it a story that we can follow. And yeah, it's not going to sell as well. Sure, it's not even going to be as popular. But they'll put out a product that'll be really good and enjoyable. At the same time, give the other team a chance to actually add something new to the multiplayer experience in Call of Duty and first-person shooters in general. I think Halo coming out with just tweaking a few things, just adding like the grapple and stuff like that is really going to make a big impact in the first-person shooter world. But I don't know, that's just my thoughts on it. Ultimately, I would say if you like Call of Duty, you've probably already got it, or you should get it. If you like first-person shooters, this one's a good one. I almost hate saying it, but I do recommend purchasing this game. It's been fun. I've enjoyed all aspects of it, far more than I thought I would. It's a game I'm still continuing to go back to playing. Like, I want to get back online and get some more kills and expand my gun selection and tweak things and have all sorts of fun. Anyway, that's my whole thoughts on it. But guys, please like, subscribe. I appreciate you. Side note, we'll be kind of slow with videos just because the holidays and all sorts of stuff, but I'm still going to try to get out like at least 2 a week. I know there for a while I was doing like 3 or 4. And I just don't know if that's a possibility. Kind of got sick there for a little bit. Still kind of going through something. I don't know what it is, honestly. I wish I did. But still kind of going back and forth through that. Anyway, guys, I do appreciate you. I'm rambling on. You take care.